Hey guys, welcome to another series, Beast Quest Series 3. Book 1, Torgor the Minotaur. Just finished reading it. This is like the second time I've read this book. The first time was back in school, a while back when I was in year 10 or 9, one of the two. I remember a few things about this book, the wasteland and the beast and where they fought, but I didn't remember everything, or maybe because I wasn't paying fully attention to all the detail. But I felt when I reread it a second time, there was a lot to get into. And of course it's a new series, so there's of course a new plot to explain as well. So I'm going to cut things straight to it. The new series starts off with Tom and Eleanor and friends going through the Lion's Gate where they've last fought Trillion, that's it. And they enter through through the gate where they come to Gorgonia, which is Malvel's kingdom. They encounter a human called, I think it's a human, Curlo the gatekeeper, and who's an eerie old man who's basically on no either side, he says, and he's just the gatekeeper of the gate. So Tom doesn't trust the guy, neither does Eleanor, but can you really blame him? But the gatekeeper does tell them which direction to go, and he points to the mist and they head through the fog. This wasteland kind of reminds me of another Neverending Story reference with the Swamps of Sadness scenes, where you see Storm struggling to go through the mud and slime, but it kind of reminds me of the Dark Jungle as well. Yeah, because they go through these marshes, and it does look very similar to the Dark Jungle. Oh yeah, when Tom keeps going through, before Tom heads towards the marshes, his armor, the golden armor, what he got last series, that gets taken away. Tom thought that it might be Malvel's doing, but no, it's actually a good thing. Turns out that Wizard Adaro has broken free from Malvel's spell, or imprisonment, whatever, because he's collected all the pieces of armor. So he says that the armor has been returned back to King Hugo's palace, and he's going back there himself because he doesn't have enough energy here or enough power to sustain himself, so he's got to go back to Avantia so he can recuperate. But Tom is given a new quest here because there are 6 evil beasts here that are evil, and they need taking care of, because these evil beasts are capturing the good beasts of Avantia, so that no one will protect Avantia, allowing Malvel to take his chances and taking his chances to overthrow the kingdom. So that's the new quest so far, what we know. Let's see, take my notes here. Yep, that is it. Tom does also figure out that plan also, and they go through the marshes and face the dangers of the swamps, which does remind you of the Dark Jungle incidences, which I've said before. If I haven't, hopefully so, with Claw and all that. Despite the fact that Tom doesn't have the armor, he still has the powers that it's given him, because I guess he's worn it for such a long time. Its powers have passed on or flowed through him. Not full strength-wise, like it's on him still, but enough that it can still give a point, which is mentioned several times through the book. Eventually Malvel gives them a map, which seems very hesitant. Why would you give your enemy a map? But apparently, since they're in Malvel's kingdom, Malvel's going to have fun with them and toy with them. Because unlike Adaro's map, this map leads them into probably some dangers. Because Tagus shows up, right, in the story, and because that's the story, the plot. Malvel's trying to lure the good beasts through the Lion's Gate portal, and from prison them in his kingdom. So the evil beasts are making sure they stay there. Tagus shows up, rides past them, and they go after him through the swamp marshes. Mal gives them a map, and it says that Tagus passed through a village. They go to the village, and it turns out all the people in the village hate people from Avantia. So that was just there for Malvel to have his laugh in. So the map is pretty untrustworthy, but it's the only thing they've got. So Gorgonia is not the friendly of places. Eventually they follow Tagus' blood, because apparently he got wounded again. Like in the last book, Trelion, he did get wounded. And now it's happening again, oh my god. But he's caught in a jaw trap, which is used by the new beast, who is Torgor. So, but he actually writes the his name on the thing. So they have to try and break free of the trap. Fortunately, none of their weapons are doing anything. So Tom realized that the only one who might have a chance to break this is Torgor himself. So Tom and Silver go to find him, while Eleanor and Storm stay behind to look after Tagus, who's wounded. I like Silver and Tom together because they're a good team. If again referencing to Claw the Monkey, which, oh my god, there's so many references to that book. You know, didn't like it much. I like this good pairing because they work well together. Tom follows the blood with Silver. The blood stains fade away because he goes into water. Then they use Silver the Wolf, but even though it's water, he can't check the scent because the scent's faded. I believe Tom is curious what to do now. Then a tree crashes down near them and nearly kills them. They dodge it in time. Eleanor rushes to the rescue to see what was up with Storm. Then behind them, Torgor shows up because he's the one who knocked down the tree. And then the fight begins. Let's see, check my notes. I like seeing Tom's ever. Tom. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so Torgor sees Tagus up the tree, and he just beats up the two and goes straight for him, and despite Tom's speed token that he got from Tagus the Horseman for his shield, apparently the beast's hind legs are too fast for him, he's taking two big strides, and he gets to Tagus first. He's about to raise his axe, but Tom uses his shield to block him from doing so for a few hits. Then he tricks Torgor into slashing the chain, and then he comes up with an idea. Then Tagus goes, fights Torgor, bends one of his horns, which turns out to be where he gets all his strength, which enrages Torgor. Tom uses this weak point and goes for his horns, but Ellen distracts him. And then he gets the sword out and whips it on the other horn, I think. Yeah, he does. He does some slashing there. And then eventually he aims for the red jewel on his axe gets fallen out. And then it imprisons, because when Tom hits him the jewel falls out of Torgor and it collapses to the ground. And then Torgor gets encased into this ruby amber substance and imprisoned that way. So they take the red jewel, and Tom also takes the belt thing that Torgor is wearing, and it turns out it actually has woven down to fit Tom. So it has 6 slots in it and it turns out the red jewel fits in one of the slots. And turns out this thing is basically the new token piece of the series. Like the shield and the golden armor, this will help him communicate with the beasts. He puts in the red jewel and he's able to communicate with Tagus. So Tagus informs them that the other beasts are here in Gorgonia, come on, it's a new series. And his quest is to find the others and free them. Tom has a good idea, which is the next one. After using the Epos token to heal Tagus, Tom thinks that Epos might be the next beast, and Tom sets off on a new quest to find probably Epos the Flamebird with his new token piece, the belt piece, so he can communicate with the beast better and fight fight the remaining 5 evil beasts around Gorgonia's kingdom, and hopefully capture Malvel once and for all. Overall, I'm okay with Torgor. It's kind of a better version of what we've got. On the previous since it's the first book, there's not much comparing it to. The only thing to compare it to is probably the first being, like, it's probably the best first book so far, I'd say. But then again, that's kind of its flaw, because it has a lot of chapters focusing on setting up Gorgonia's plot, and there is a lot of plotting. It is kind of confusing at times, and do you know what chapter you get to the Beast? Chapters like 8, 9, or 10, and then and there are 10 chapters in the book, so like they have a lot of stuff to set up before they get to the actual Beast. And since the start of the series is Beast Quest, you won't be getting to your Beast until the last 3 chapters, just so you know. But it's not. I'm sure there's going to be. I like the design of Torgor. The Beast is actually pretty cool. I like Minotaurs and all that. But I really didn't mind this as a good starting book. But the only thing that dragged it down was there was too much focus on the plotting. But I get under why. But this is more of a starter, and I'm sure there are other books down the road when we get to next time. Speaking of next time, I'm going to be looking forward to the next book. So until next time, guys. See you on with book 2.